Hi everyone, in this lesson we will focus on decimal division algorithm. So what we will focus on is to rewrite decimal division sentences in multiple ways and pick out the one that's the easiest to solve. So in the example given below, we're asked to divide 7.8125 by 1.25. So if we were to rewrite this as a fraction, we have 7.8125 over 1.25. So our job is to change into different formats by timesing it by tens, where if you times it by 10, it's basically moving it one decimal place over to the right, which gives you 78.125 over 12.5. Continuing the same pattern by timesing both by 10, you will move the decimal point one place over again to the right, which will give you 781.25 and 125 at the bottom. We can times it by 10 again, which will bring us 7,812.5 over 1,250. And now one last one, timesing 10 again, which will bring us 78,125 over 12,500. Now looking at these, which one should you choose to solve the question? The answer is this one right here, because the only thing that you need to care about is the denominator being a whole number. So off the list, that is the first time that the denominator is a whole number. Now putting this into the grid below, you would have 781.25 divided by 125. Now just like our previous long division lesson, it is best that you start off by creating your help chart on the side for the denominator, which for 125 you keep on doing it until you get to 9. There you go, you stop at 9. So looking at the chart, you will need to start with the first three numbers because 125 can go into 781 6 times. So you will minus 781 by 750, which will bring you 31, and you will bring down a number from the top, which will turn the number into 312. And looking at our chart, it will go in 2 times. So you have 250 to subtract by, and that will give you 62. And now bringing the last number down, you will end up having 625, which 125 goes into 625 5 times. So you minus 625 from 625, you will end up getting a 0. The only thing that you need to put back right now is the decimal point, which will align with the divisor. So you put it back on top in between 6 and 2. Now, does the answer make sense? Let's check with whole numbers. So if I were to take this quotient, you can round this number to 8 divided by 1. You should get about 8 as your estimated answer. And again, we are pretty close because we get 6.25. So that means the answer makes sense and we do have the decimal point in the right place. Now the next example is a word problem. It says Mrs. Phillips bought 1.8 pounds of ground beef. She paid a total of $6.75 for the ground beef. What was the price per pound? Now, per pound tells you that we are dividing in this quotient. So we are basically dividing $6.75 by 1.8. And again, the most important thing about dividing decimal is to make sure that the denominator, which is the divisor, is a whole number. So to turn this into a whole number divisor, all we need is times it by 10 because we only need to move the decimal point one place over to the right, which will turn out to be 67.5 over 18. And that's exactly what you will be using as your number sentence. 67.5 divided by 18. Just like the previous example, we will create our 18, which is the denominator help chart, to help us easily answer the question. There you go. We stop at 9 again. So 18 goes into 67, which is the first set of number we need to work on, 3 times. So per our help chart, you will have to subtract out 54 from the quotient, which will bring us 13. Now bringing the next number down, we would have a new number, which is 135, and 18 goes into 135 7 times, which will bring us 126. 135 minus 126 is 9. Notice how 18 does not go into 9, so guess what? You just have to add zeros behind the 5, bring it down, so you have a 90. and 18 goes into 90 exactly 5 times, which will leave us with no remainder. Again, to complete this question, you need to put back the decimal point, which will be directly above the decimal point from the divisor. And there you go. The answer will be 3.75. And now let's quickly check our answer by taking our original number sentence and round it to 7 divided by 2, which does give you about 350. So our answer makes sense, especially where we place the decimal point. To wrap up this lesson, steps to divide decimals are: 1. Shift the decimal point of both numbers to the left by the same amount until the divisor is a whole number. So you can divide by a whole number and add 0 if you ever need it. 2. Divide as usual. Keep dividing until the answer terminates, meaning stops or repeats. And 3. The decimal point of the quotient, meaning your answer, should be directly above the decimal point of the dividend, which is the number that you start off dividing. That's it for the lesson.